Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this lecture 2 on advanced persistent threat attribution and detection. So in this lecture we will look into the naming convention related to APTs, and we will have a quick introduction about APT attribution as a process. So before actually getting into the deep methods that are involved in APT attribution, we need to understand some basic terminology related to APTs. So most often you hear and you have read about different naming conventions related to APTs. Also, in some cases you might get to see APT 1, 2, 4, etc. And in some blogs we will see about Red October and Cloud Atlas, and in some cases you will see about Deep Panda. So the basic fundamental question is, what is the standard naming conventions with respect to APT groups? So in order to answer this question, we need to go through the process that the most security firms will do. So this is called as a standard practice done by the most of the security firms. So what they will do is they do investigate and figure out the indicators of compromise of an attack. So basically, indicators of compromise means the technical artifacts that are used in the attack. So often the attackers leave some footprints, and the security firms will go and collect these footprints, and they will consider these as the technical artifacts of that particular attack. So the security teams will collect them, and basically they will tag them as a group. So here the interesting thing is that the attackers are creatures of habit. So the security firms observe and analyze these attacks based on this combination of indicators of compromise and the TTPs that the attackers use repeatedly. So this precise naming convention comes after the combination of these co-occurrences, and this is probably called as an intrusion set. So all these indicators of compromise and TTPs are collected together, and those will be called as an intrusion set. So the careful analysis on these intrusion sets over the period of time will reveal the threat actor behind that particular group or that particular attack. So security firms will do this work, and they will follow different naming conventions for for this intrusion sets. So FireEye has numbered its group from APT 1 to 41, and they do this deliberately because their APT research is purely based on the technical perspective, and they don't see a political interest in attribution process. And however, the Kaspersky also stand on the same thing, and they are being non-political, and they name their APT groups as a famous movie names like the Cloud Atlas, Red October, etc. And the most interesting thing was this CrowdStrike naming convention. So they used to give the names with that reflects the country behind that particular threat actor. So for example, the pandas related to the Chinese groups, and the kitten related to Iranian groups, and the horse related to Korean groups, and the tiger related to the Indian APT groups. And Viceroy Tiger was the famous APT group that is popular quite a few years back, and this is about the APT attribution. So as far as the the publicly available information, there are 130 groups that are publicly disclosed by this end of 2020. So this is about the basic understanding of this attribution process. And this APT attribution process is evolved over the time, and this analysis process that try to attempts basically who is the actor behind this particular activity and what is their motivation. So the actual attribution happens at different granularities based on the interest of the investigator. So most of the security firms and industrial attribution focus on APT groups and their activity for a long period of time. So this is purely technical, but in some cases some political firms and some organizations and secret agencies perform the attack attribution limited to the country origin or the gangs. but in very few cases, in very rare cases, they will go very deep, and in some cases the attribution, they will pinpoint the organization, and they will try to reveal the actors behind that particular attack, and the personal identity of the attackers was revealed in very few cases. So APT1 and the Mandiant case was one such kind of incident. And so out of this 130 groups, only 85 percentage groups are assigned to a particular country. So the attribution process stopped until identifying the country, and but only a few fraction of APT groups went to very deep, and they are able to pinpoint the particular organization and the particular persons behind that threat activity as well. So this is the quick introduction about the naming conventions and the APT attribution as a process. In the next lecture, we will look into different methods or methodologies or frameworks that are involved in APT attribution. So hope to see you soon. Thank you.